finished. Good.
All right. Welcome to the Modern Mompreneur podcast. Thank you for joining us again. I am Dave Smith, your host, and really the curator of all things mompreneur, talking about our challenges, our inspirational joys, everything that we face in this journey to building a business and raising a family. And I'm so glad today to have a very special guest, Dave Pygon. Dave Pygon, I've known him for years since I started my corporate career, and he's always been such a huge advocate for me. I mean, he would say things that just let me know that he believed in me and encouraged me in anything I did in the sales space. And so when I saw that he had branched out and started his own business, I was so excited and wanted to have him on the show. So today we have a male guest on the show, you guys. Dave Pygon. Welcome.
Day, thank you so much. And to your audience, thank you for letting me spend some time with you today. I was excited. I'm thrilled. And I look forward to having some fun today with you. And I got to say, I don't want to embarrass you, but you knew from day one when I met you. Do you remember what I said to you? Can you repeat it, or is that too much?
Dave said that I would be the CEO of the company. He's like,
Yes,
"You're gonna be the CEO one day," and I'm like, "Well, maybe."
yes, yes. And
So
see, you're flourishing and doing awesome. So I
yes,
think you're amazing, and you continue to be amazing, my friend.
thank you. Same to you, Dave. So we're gonna get into it and talk more about who you are and who you serve. Tell the Mom Mod Pod community who you are.
Well, everybody, again, it's a pleasure to be here today. So, what you're doing is awesome for all of us. My name is Dave Pygon. I'm the president of Pygon One Consulting, and I worked Day and I have very similar backgrounds. I'm just a little bit older than her. Um, Fortune 500 companies forever, 20 years in leadership, passionate about it, love supporting people and helping them. Did some consulting over the years and realized I just love supporting people, whether it's executives and managers and individuals, contributors one on one, or doing group sessions with 200 people and motivational talks. Uh, I wrote a book this past year, and I'm sure we're going to get into it. And it was amazing how much I learned. And I'm not a big believer in self deprecation, but for all of you mompreneurs out there, if I can write a book, you can too. So let me just say that. I really mean that. Now, it takes a lot of time and discipline. And I know for a lot of you out there, that's not on your side. I get it, but I just wanted to let you know you can do it too. So hopefully, at least gives everyone a little bit of feedback or a little bit of information on what I am and who I am.
Awesome. Yes. So Dave is definitely a expert in the field of leadership. And now that he's sharing his superpowers with more people outside of the Fortune 500 companies, but with entrepreneurs, he talks about that in his book, Win the 16. And great picture, by the way.
Uh,
I was really intrigued. So it's principles and strategies to optimize your day. And so what I love about this book is that it talks about how you can really maximize your time. You know, we only get 16 waking hours, say, if we're sleeping, right? 8 hours a day. How do we use that time? And for mompreneurs, you have the jobs, you have the careers, you have the businesses, and you have the kids. So who gets a slice of that 16, that pie? And so Dave's book is really phenomenal in really sharing not only just practical tools, but it's very motivational, so that you know that you can do it, and like fixing your mindset around, giving yourself grace and learning how to, leverage other people and other resources. And so, talk to us more about what brought this book to your mind and why you wanted to put it out there in the world.
Thanks, Dave. One thing I should say for the mompreneurs out there, I am not saying I am in your class or league at all with what you do on a day, minute, hourly basis.
Yeah.
We raised three boys. They're all graduated college and working professionally. And I got to tell you, we had moments. We thought there's no way these guys are graduating college and you're going to be a success. We had moments where we didn't sleep. I just wanted to share with that right off the bat, Day, all the respect for you moms out there and what you're doing professionally and personally. And I just have a little bit of experience. I have twins and three kids under three at one point. And
Oh my
here's a
goodness.
record, Day. You don't even know this. I know you asked a question. I'm going to answer it. This is how, I don't want to say pathetic our lives were, but we changed 27 diapers in a 24-hour period at one time.
Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yes. Yes. We had three of them
Gee.
at the moment, three boys. So I'm just trying to connect with you ladies out there. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Life is chaos. And sometimes we're all just trying to hang on from a tree, especially
Yeah.
when you have younger kids. So you're
Yeah.
doing great, I'm sure, even though you probably don't feel like it at times. So hang in
Yeah.
there. So to answer your question about the book, one, Dave, I always wanted to do it. For
Mm.
years, I wanted to write a book. And let me tell you what I did. I did what a lot of us do. And really, when I give you the reasons I didn't write a book, they're all excuses. They
Yeah.
are. I mean, that's the reality of it. Now, could I have written a book when the kids were really little? No. No, I didn't have the time. There's just a tremendous amount of work. You know that as a
Yeah.
writer. Um, but I always wanted to do it. So I guess where my story, I think, is something relevant is there's things out that you want to do today, but there's other things that maybe have long-term goals. Those are great too. That's fine. Just make sure you don't put them off too long. And
Mm.
that horizon at some point needs to come back and comes to fruition. And mine did with the book because I finally said, it's time.
Okay.
It's time to do it. I think I have a story to tell. I believe in it. Mark Twain said this, and you might be aware of this already. He said, write what you know. Write what you know. And that is really what I did, Dave. And
Mm.
it was hard. It took a lot of time and discipline and a lot of nights and mornings because I was still running the company when I did this and my own podcast.
Yeah.
With that, though, I wrote about the way I live my life. I am not perfect at it. I fall down every day with it. The good news is, I'm so cognizant of it that I catch myself
Okay.
falling down because I'm not perfect at it. And when the 16 is all about, we have 24 hours in a day. The data supports sleep is good. You mompreneurs out there, you're like, hey, Dave, I wish I could sleep and I wish I could sleep more.
Yeah.
Ladies, I am with you. I get it. I used to be that guy who didn't get much sleep and I didn't think I really needed it. I
Mm.
was wrong. The data supports I'm smarter, I'm more patient, I'm better, I'm a better ideator, I'm a better business owner when I can get some sleep.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's how I came up with Win the 16. I had
Got it.
one of my clients, a woman said, Dave, I don't have win the 16. Mine is win the 19 sometimes, win the 20 because the kids aren't sleeping, win the
Yeah.
17. And I said,
Yeah.
hey, as long as you're cognizant and you're doing your thing, you're amazing.
Yeah.
So mine's a little different. Like I push that forward. And the book's all about things I believe in, early successes in the day. Try to win and get something for yourself personally or
Yeah.
professionally before the kids get up. Could be a
Yeah.
10-minute walk. It could be maybe a few sit-ups. It could be maybe meditation. It could be reading a book for 10 minutes,
Yeah.
things of that nature. So I just wrote
Mm-hmm.
what I know, and that's trying to optimize my day because I've always been kind of a efficiency, productive hack. I've always
Yeah.
believed in that. I don't like wasting time. I know you don't. You're an expert at productivity, and I learn a lot from you and all your posts and all your communication to us out there. That's, I think, where our alignment has always been. We do it
Mm-hmm.
differently, but we both believe in that. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
why I wrote the book and things I know.
Yeah, love that. Love that. And you're right. You kind of have to meet people where they are and get inspiration from that. But I love that you talked about how these goals that you have, it doesn't have to be now. Sometimes people look at other people and compare, especially in the mom or the entrepreneur world. Maybe you even experience, you look at someone else who's maybe your same age, same, economic, social economic status, and you're like, well, look at what they're doing. And for moms, you're like, well, they have little kids and they're doing it. Why can't I do it? And so I like that you talk about delayed goals, goals that you have now. If you can write a book, or if you can achieve them now, do it. But if you can't, it's totally fine for waiting. And I
Yeah.
think that if you had written this book, I don't know, 10 years ago, it wouldn't be able to be as valuable because you now have that much more experience. You have that much more that you can pour into people. And so waiting and delaying your goals not too long is sometimes a blessing. It's not You're not falling behind as long as you do it, and as long as you at least attempt to do it, then you're winning. You're winning. So I like that you talked about that.
I think you hit a home run with that comment, Day. I'm I'm just better now than I was 10 years ago too. And I
Mhm.
say that life experiences. It was so cool about writing the book now too is guess who helped me on the journey? Three boys,
Kids, yes.
right?
Yeah.
They're smart. The twins are 23, the oldest one's 26. They're smart.
Yeah.
These, borderlining Gen Z to millennials, I know they get ripped on sometimes. A lot of times I think it's unfair. They're
Mhm.
smart. They're well educated. Like they're smart people. They can give us a lot if we're willing to listen and to have change agility, which I have a chapter on that in the book. I wanted to
Mhm.
say this thing to all my mompreneurs out there and dadpreneurs if they're listening too today.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause we love them too. Um, and I know you didn't this because you and I've had these conversations too. And I remember when your first was born, and I was like, "He's buttoned up, isn't he, Day?" You're like, "Yeah, he's buttoned
You
up."
talk
I got
about
and you. I know you, and I know he's buttoned up already.
yeah.
And we laughed about it. But one of the things that you and I did early on in our careers is some of our peers were trying to be the VP or moving up the ladder so fast. You and I stood back and said, "We're good. We're learning our craft.
Mhm.
We're learning our experiences. We're doing our thing, and we're being us. You were
Mhm.
being you, and I was being me. We didn't compare ourselves professionally because they had their journey that made sense for them. You and I had our journey taking care of our family and also doing the business.
Yeah.
And I know one of the things that I'm proud of in raising the kids is I can honestly tell you, I never compared myself to
Mm.
other parents. I never did. I looked up to them, I respected them, but I always thought to myself, I don't know what's really going on in Day's house
That's true.
or Mike's house. And I don't know. I mean, if they're doing amazing things, I still don't really know where they're going. Or if they're not doing amazing things, however you define it, I don't know what's going on in there. And that really helped me professionally and personally. I never got into that. I
Got it.
never did.
Got it. So that's a lesson for us. Just, you never know what's going on. And really, you're on the path that you're supposed to be on. And you are
Yes.
making choices based on your family, yourself, your own goals and dreams. And I agree, I didn't originally think that way. I was wanting to be director and VP. But after I had kids, that did shift,
Yeah. Right.
I was like, you know what? I want to value my time with my family. I don't want to travel a ton. I want to really pour into them. And then the entrepreneurial, I guess, bug, I got bit by the entrepreneurial bug. It was always
Yes.
there, but it came to me again. And I was like, you know what? I owe it to myself, and I really owe it to my kids to explore this. And it's been a great journey, not an easy journey, but a great one. So I want to ask you about that. At what point did you say, let me take this leap of faith, and I know you
Sure.
were doing consulting before, but start to build your own business? What was that process
Yes.
like?
Yes. I just one. It's actually interesting. I thought about it. I was always going to do this, and I always had it pushed off. I'll do it. I'm 53 now. Everybody,
Mhm.
I'm 53 years old, and I said, I'm going to do it in my later 50s or early
Mm.
60s. And then I'm like, why am I putting things off? And I was making excuses. That's all I was doing.
Mhm.
I can talk about money. I can talk about all this different stuff, but it was ultimately excuses if we.
Yeah.
And one day, a couple things. I read a book by these two women, and they said, basically, bet on yourself. And they hadn't just a one that just I'm paraphrasing them because I don't want to
Yeah.
misrepresent what they said, but here's what they basically said to me as I was reading it. They said, "What is the risk, Day, when you don't do something?"
Mm.
We always think about when we take a jump. break up with the boyfriend, we start a new job, whatever it might be, we always think about, oh, when we do that, what are we going to lose? They spun that in a different way. They said, if you stay, what are you risking and what are you losing? And I never thought of it that way, Day. That was eye
Wow.
opening for me when I read that
Wow.
book by these two ladies. The other thing was I was driving to a C-suite meeting in the morning, true story, at 6:30 a.m. I'm cruising along here in Chicago, and the podcast that I was listening to at that time talked about, basic I'm paraphrasing, uh, they said, if you're not willing to take these jumps and these risks and be bold, that's on you. And I really felt like they were talking on me. They used other words that I can't say on the air. And
You can, but it's
it
okay.
really, I don't know if it inspired me, but it really
Mm.
said, they're talking to you, Dave. That they're talking to you. So that day I called my business coach, I called a couple of my inner circle, and by the end of the day, Pygon 1 was going to be started really, really soon, coming to a theater near you within the next month.
Ah, love it, love it. Awesome. So I can't wait to hear about what that those books were, because I bet a lot of moms can really hear that and be inspired by it, because you're right. A lot of times you're on the path of, least resistance. You're trying to manage through the day with your kids and with your career. But think about what you are giving up if you don't do it. I thought the same thing when I started. It wasn't convenient time. I was actually at the point you were. I had two kids under 3.
Yes.
And even though my son was, very obedient and buttoned up, as you say, that second one was a little different. So the girl, and so as they tend to be, and so I thought to myself, I owe it to myself to try, even if it doesn't work out. I didn't want to go through my life not exploring this opportunity, this drive, this passion within myself to be an entrepreneur. It was always there, and I was just waiting for the right time. And I even looked for validation, Dave. I'm be honest. I was trying to find in my network, are there other moms who have little kids, who have jobs, who have a business? Tell me how they're doing it, and if it's something that you can manage. And I couldn't find too many people doing it. But at that
Mhm.
moment, that didn't deter me. I still said, I'm going to try, and I will be the guinea pig, so to speak. I'll be the pioneer of this. But once I stepped out into that space, I did find that tribe, which is why how this podcast kind of was born, to be able to be a place for us who are living that life to have inspiration, to know it's not easy. It's not something that you take lightly to do, but you can do it and you can succeed at it. And there's plenty of people who are there living that. So I totally get that.
And what lesson, Day? I know yours are little
Hmm.
and growing and going to be getting older by the day, as we know. What lesson are you going to be able to teach them as they get a little bit older from this experience, or
Yes.
lessons?
Yeah. Well, thank you for turning the mic on me. I told you that was fine.
No, I'd
Uh,
love to hear your
yeah,
perspective.
I love to share that. So I think for my oldest, who's 8, he understands more of what's going on here, that I'm not just on
Mhm.
the computer. I mean, he's actually right here sitting. He knows that I'm doing podcasting. Um, I'm really showing them that if you have a goal or a dream, you can do it. You can take the steps to achieve it. We say often, like, you can do anything you want to do. You can be anything you want to be. But a lot of times we don't walk that walk. And so for me, I'm walking that walk, and I'm doing things that I probably couldn't do if I was just working a corporate job. No knock on anyone who's just doing that. That's great. But like being an author, having a podcast, you know, he's seen me at networking events. He's been with me on some jobs. He's helped me stuff some of my gift bags for my events. He's been to some of my events, and so he sees me in a different light. And I've heard him say sometimes, like, "You have your own business? That's cool," and it sparks
Yes.
something in him. He's an artist. He likes to draw. He's even asked me if he could create things and sell that as well. So
I
He's
love
like
it.
getting the entrepreneurial bug. And so right now, those are the things that I'm seeing, but I hope to see what happens more in the future as he gets older. So I'm excited about that.
Uh, can I ask you two more questions?
Sure. Let's go. Let's go,
Okay.
Dave.
Thank you. Thank you. How accomplished do you feel?
How accomplished do I feel?
Yeah, and pride. Maybe a better
Yeah.
word is what type, and I know you're humble for all the listeners out there today. You're humble. It's not about you. That's what makes you special. But let's say it's just you and I talking, and all our
Mhm.
mom entrepreneurs were not listening.
Mhm.
How accomplished do you feel of what you've done? The book, the podcast, the business. How does your heart feel?
I'm gonna be honest. I feel very proud and honored
Yep.
to be able to walk this path. I often think
Hmm.
about my dad who's deceased and my grandmother who's deceased. And they were very influential in my life. And so I think about how proud they would be. And that's like the one thing I hang my hat on, like the pride that they would have and seeing that what I've done and what I've created and how I've built this family, me and my husband, the way we wanted to be, and all the love and all the way we were able to give back. And, you know, I think about them. And so I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I'm able to, being a young Black woman in America, first generation college grad, humble beginnings, I'm able to have this life and this
Yes.
business. And so I'm proud of that. I really am. I feel accomplished in that setting. But I also feel like there's so much more that I'm just getting started at the same time.
You, your book is just beginning. And I didn't ask you that to embarrass you and put you on the spot. The, there's a takeaway from all your mompreneurs out there is I talk about in the book, and I've had many discussions because not everyone believes this.
Mm,
Celebrating success
mm,
and celebrating our learnings and celebrating it. I think those mompreneurs out there that haven't had somebody ask the question, I guess I'm asking all of them out there when they're listening is you should answer it to yourself if you're not, because you should be really proud of what you're doing
mm.
just as you are. And Dave, you know this, but you can add me to the list of people who are really proud of you. So
Oh,
great
thank you,
job.
Dave.
I'm proud of you too. You know that.
I love
I'm
that.
a
And thank you. I love that. I would ask anyone who's listening to this, take a moment to ask yourself that. You don't have to share with
yes.
anyone if you are
Oh,
just want to, but jot it down and say what you're proud of that you've accomplished, because there is something there, and reflect on it. We don't Sometimes we put our head down, we just work, work, work. I've learned from one of my mentors, to anything that I do, any project, put in the planning process what you will do to celebrate at the
hmm.
beginning. Even right now, we're doing a 21-day productivity challenge. And the first day is, why is this important? How will you celebrate? And the people who are in the challenge are like, I never thought about how I would celebrate. I just thought I'm going to do this. And so I've tried to incorporate that into every big thing. It doesn't have to be anything big, it can be something small, like whatever, take a day off and relax, but putting that in there because I think it gives us a chance to reflect. Do you do that often? Do you reflect on, what you've accomplished and celebrate yourself sometimes?
Not enough.
Okay.
So it's a work in progress. And it's interesting, but I keep saying to myself, here's my challenge day. And I bring it up to my coach. I believe in it. The challenge is, and you know this, there's so many things going on running your own business, your own podcast, your
Mm,
own book, and all that's involved in it, that if you don't consciously take time to do it, it goes a day or two or three or four, and you haven't celebrated it.
mhm,
So it is a work in progress with me that I do that. Last night I was on YouTube TV with Logan Crawford, and I got to tell you, last night my wife and I we watched it on YouTube when it premiered.
mhm.
We celebrated that.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, that was I'm proud of that because I believe in it. The problem is, it's just so much going on, and I've had some really I don't want to say argument, just different philosophies, And one gentleman, an executive in my past, this was a couple years ago, we really got into a good, meaty, hearty conversation about celebrating. And I said, "You're just wrong. We can make excuses, but it's wrong. It's not right." And now that I've been on my own and I'm visiting other companies, small, medium, or large, I see it. And people sometimes forget to celebrate the small stuff. For instance, when you got on the Drew Barrymore show, to me, part of that success, everyone sees you on the show as the success. That's
Mm-hmm.
not where I see it. That's great. And to me, that was your recognition piece. That was what you were going to benefit. That was fun doing. To me, the success was how you got there. And
Mm.
when you followed up. So I listen, Dave, when you talk and you tell me, but you should have been celebrating that when you
Yeah.
just got in the door, which should have been a celebration, not
Yeah.
just when you won. Because when you
Wow.
won, that was a long time out. I mean, that was, it
2 months
took months,
of yeah,
right?
yeah, a couple
The
months. Yeah.
those early little successes is what got you there. So that's what I was kind of trying to say to the moms out there. And I do have one, I don't know if this is a tip, but one thing that I don't necessarily agree with when I hear this, and it was on a commercial years ago. May I share?
Sure. I'm curious. What is it?
And
What
I
is
think
it?
this is not for mompreneurs. I think this is for dadpreneurs too, because I'm just going to be real. When they say you can have it all,
Mm,
you can have it
unpopular
all.
opinion. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I don't know if I agree with that. I think good, productive, efficient, and effective days, you can have the right things. You can't have it
Ooh.
all. You can have the right things. You can have
I like
what you need that's most important. Um, and that might be, to me, that's reading the stories at night with the kids, feeding them. To me, that's important. Making sure
mm-hmm.
they got a good meal. To me, that was
Yeah.
important. That was a
Yeah.
priority. But that meant I might have to give up something. You know me, I'm a big workout person. So in those days, my workouts couldn't be an hour long because I didn't have time. But
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to do high intensity workouts that I could crush it for 20 minutes that were amazing. So I
Yeah.
couldn't have it all. I couldn't be a triathlete in those days. I didn't have the time. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to remind everybody out there, we always have to give up a little bit of something to have the life balance that you and I desire. Because that's really what you and I do desire, Day, is that
Absolutely.
personal and professional love.
Yes, that is my mompreneur love language, is balance and harmonizing the things in life. And like you said, there will be more time here and less time here, and that's okay. You like you said, it's doing the right things. You can have it all. You can have all the right things. That's what you said. So great.
Yeah, I just
Um,
think that's misleading for
yeah.
people out there. That when I just don't find that's authentic. And again, if for anyone listening, if I'm wrong, totally, we can agree to disagree and respect your opinion on that. I just don't. You only in my win the 16. You only have 16 hours in the day. So how can you do everything? Because in the world, there's so much to do. But what you can
Hmm.
try to do is take care of all those priorities to the best of your ability and learn
Hmm.
to. I think one of the big things I've gotten better at, Day, since you and I work together, I've gotten better at saying no.
Wow. Me too, Dave. Me too. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
gotten
Because
better.
you had to, right? I mean, you had to
And,
prioritize differently. Yeah. You had to do it.
yeah,
Great. Well,
yeah.
I want to spend a couple minutes just talking more about what you do in your consulting company and how you help people. So, who are the people you help? I know it's not necessarily mompreneurs, but I'm curious to know how you help people and how you kind of share your gifts with them through your business.
Oh, I have mompreneurs. Yeah,
Yes.
I absolutely do. I do
Okay.
executive coaching, leadership coaching, individual coaching, one on
Okay.
one. This virtual has changed the world for people like you and I,
Okay.
Day, especially. Uh, I've got a, I've got mompreneurs all over the world actually that I work
Wow.
with, and they're going through the same challenges. Probably all of your, I'm thinking all of them, or any of them entrepreneurs, all of them are executives or leaders or individuals for big companies, but they're going
Mm-hmm.
through the same thing, work balance challenge. How do I balance
Absolutely.
my family and my work? Just like my dadpreneurs are going through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend time with really my workings are really in two facets. One is I do the one-on-one executive management individual coaching sessions with people. The second piece of it is I work with small businesses, as small as I could work with groups of 8 people, or the other day I did a talk with 201 people, either virtual or in person, on a multitude of topics. Could be leadership, could be time management, it could be Win the 16 in the book, on many of the
Yeah.
things. Mindset. I did a curriculum the other day with some clients, and you're going to love this
Love
topic. I
that.
think the difference between being a risk taker and taking risk and being bold. Risk is kind
Mm,
of scary. To me, I always tell people risk is this. If you and I were in a helicopter together day and we jumped out, that's a risk. If the parachute opens, we win. If it
yeah.
doesn't, we lose.
We
That's a
love.
problem,
Yeah, it's
right?
a
That's
problem.
risk. Bold, I think, is what you're doing. That is, if this thing takes off, which it has, and you do amazing, you win. If it doesn't or didn't, you learned. And you just said early on in this conversation,
Mm,
back all the things you and I've learned. That's bold. It's not a win
yeah.
lose, it's a win learn. And that is much
When.
more palatable for my mompreneurs out there as they're taking some bold steps. And when I say bold, bold sometimes in our old day when we were calling on health care professionals was maybe acting different to a client that we've always treated them this way. Maybe we're going to be
Mm-hmm.
bold today because we're not moving this relationship down. You and I might need to be bold to try to do something different. So it's not just bold is not starting an own company. Like that's a big bold move. Boldness
Yeah.
could be just on our day-to-day lives. So in my journey at work and talking to executives and entrepreneurs, I find out what's important to them and I customize them. Of course, you know me, I love DISC. I'm certified in it. I love doing the
Mm-hmm.
DISC profiling and not trying to change people, but trying to help people to modify their behaviors, not just to their husbands, maybe your boyfriends, but also to their clients out there who are just
Mm-hmm.
different out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that awareness is key. And I that was something that I truly value, like knowing this and understanding it. And I think that your coaching, having your leadership experience, having the DIS certification, having raised a family and understand how to navigate a career and now a business is truly valuable for a coach. And I've seen you in action presenting and facilitating, so I know your workshops are amazing. I hope
Ah,
to see or come to one day. And I'm
yeah,
sure this as well is very beneficial because you're taught anyone can benefit from understanding how to optimize their day and being okay with the balance of work, life, family, and knowing about doing the right thing. So I love that. Thank you. Great.
ah,
Um, well, so now we're going to transition to my favorite part of the podcast called the lightning round. So I'm going to ask you just a few questions and whatever comes to the top of your head, top of your mind, just, spit it out. There's no wrong or right answer. We just want to get to know you a little bit more. All right?
thank, thank you.
Okay. What are 3 words to describe you today?
To describe me?
Describe you. Yes.
Oh,
3 words.
oh, easy, passionate, energetic, and competitive.
All right. What would you tell your 18-year-old self today?
Experiences, experiences, experiences. Get as many as you can.
Mm, love it. Um, what do you love about being an entrepreneur?
Supporting people genuinely. And I love, absolutely love being the controller of my destiny. If this
Awesome.
works, it's me. If it doesn't work, it's me too. This is on me.
Mhm.
I love
Love
it.
it. I love that. What are you reading, watching, and listening to right now?
Ooh. So let's start with the watching right now. Uh, Mompreneurs, you're going to love this. I think maybe Susan and she's got me for the first time. I watched The Bachelorette all the way
What?
through. Chastity last night. The other night, we watched it taped so we could go through commercial. She's got a tough decision, so we like all three of the men left. We think they're impressive, actually. So true. So don't hold
Bachelorette.
it against me, those,
Wow.
but yes. So we
Okay.
do dive into that useless mind TV kind of
Yep.
stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
normally we're more into Succession, Billions, Suits
Mm.
type of shows. But she got me. My amazing Susan, school teacher, just went back to school. So I feel bad for her. I teaching high school kids.
Mm.
Books. I'm reading the Fifth Discipline by Peter Senge right now.
Okay.
I'm also reading another. I just finished a book that I loved. Let me grab it. Was the
Working types. 6 Types of Working Genius by Patrick
Six
Leonich.
Genius. That is a
Okay.
book you can take assessment at the end. It's a fable. I love the main character. If I had another kid, the main character's name is Bull.
Bull.
Bull. How
Okay.
cool is that day? Bull.
That's fun.
Um,
Bull.
yeah, I
Awesome.
love it. And then the other book I just read before I started these two was The Big Leap. And
Okay.
that talks
Ooh.
about making and having basically the best year of your life. How do you do it? What does it look
Wow.
like? Ceilings in your life versus floors in your life. It was another excellent book. And all of them are on audiobooks because, again, as a mompreneur, I know you're driving around. So the
Mm-hmm.
audiobooks are nice to be efficient and productive because I know when my kids were little, the gift of reading for periods of time was very difficult, but the
Yeah.
audiobooks are amazing now.
Yeah, I love a good audiobook. So the last one was called The Big Leap. Do you know the author, or we can probably just look it up on
Yes.
Amazon?
Yeah, let me get no, I'll give you the author right here. Um, Gay Hendricks.
Okay. The Big Leap. Oh, I like the image. Yeah, cool. I've seen that a lot.
And
Love it.
and I want and you know me, I'm an honest engine. I'm a Chicago South Side Catholic, born, raised, still live on the South
Yeah.
Side. The other book I read was the 12 Walk Challenge. So technically that
Okay.
was the last book. And that's just a challenge about spending a day by yourself. Fast read. I read it in 3 days. I mean, very quick. But it's about challenging not just your body, but your mind. So it was a 12-hour walk by yourself, no audiobook, podcast, no friend with you, just
Mm.
you and your brain for 12 hours walking to rewire your brain to think, meditate, whatever that you want to do,
Hmm.
creative, ideate. Mompreneurs, I know you're like, I don't have time. There's no way I could do that. I get it.
You wish. You're like, I gotta get out the house, but somebody's gonna.
Get it.
That's a
Right.
yeah.
You're like, I just
Somebody
want to
will
get out of the
quit.
house for 5 minutes. I get it, moms. I hear you. Again, my kids are 23 and 26. But that, to be transparent, and my honest engine came out, that was actually the last book. And I read it and I did that challenge last weekend, which was brutal. I can tell you, I missed being with people, but that
Yeah.
was for those of you out there trying to challenge your mindset. That was
Okay.
tough. Mental toughness. That was
Okay.
tough.
Wow. Got it. Okay. So I would say reading and listening are the same because you're doing audiobooks, but watching, reading, listening. Correct. Those are
Yes.
the yeah.
We threw it out there, Bachelorette. Didn't I surprise you today?
You did. I did. I was like, "Oh Lord!" But you said this was shocking. Like Susan got you into that, so I love
Yes.
it. I've
I'm,
I've watched a couple episodes. You get sucked in, man. I'm telling you, it's hard. You get so invested in the characters. You're like, "What does he say?" Or So I get it. I totally get it.
yeah, I'm supportive of all three gentlemen. They are impressive. They are.
Wow.
They were. Dalton's impressive. They were all impressive. So I don't want to ruin it
Okay.
for anyone who hasn't. There's a little
No.
surprise.
I mean, well, don't
Yeah,
ruin it. Don't ruin it. I don't
I'm
want
not
nobody to
ruining
get
it.
mad at me coming after me on the Mompreneur podcast. Like he said it, and that spoiler
Nope,
alert. I don't want
nope.
that. Okay. All right. Well, last question. What's bringing you joy right now?
Oh, I'm in a great space right now. I don't have one specific thing. Um, my Susan bringing me joy. She's my lobster. We're different, but we're the same. What's that saying? Um, you marry somebody who you can play with, and that's what we
Mm-hmm.
do. We're silly, we have fun, we can talk.
Nice.
So that brings me joy. The kids at their stage of their life, that they're professional workers now, still at sometimes idiots, don't get me wrong, but that's bringing me joy to have those conversations with them now. We can talk about such a deeper level about
Wow.
different things, joy. Uh, this book, joy, the company, joy, and the podcast, a tremendous amount of joy. Talking to people like you, joy. Now, with that said, it's hard, and there's tons of things that are not joyful and frustrating and that. But all that other stuff is bringing me joy. I'm in a really good spot.
I love that. I'm very happy for you. That is
Thanks.
well rounded. I love to hear that, especially about your marriage and your kids and then the business. I mean, all the things that you sacrificed and kind of achieved in your career, like to be able to sit back and have a wonderful relationship with your spouse and healthy successful kids, young adults, and a business that you're passionate and proud of, that is success. Like that is something you should be just amazingly proud of, because I'm proud to hear it, from you. So
Yeah.
congrats.
And I didn't say the other big thing that brings me joy is, you know me, I'm huge into health and fitness and working out, and
Yes.
what you put in your body means something. It just is. And trust me, I remember those days, moms, where it's 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and you're like, oh my goodness, what's for dinner tonight? You want to put something healthy on it, but you're like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness. And that's where, Day, I know you're awesome. And I was pretty good at that too, about making sure I
Mhm.
planned ahead and we had good,
Yeah.
always a vegetable on the
Yes,
table,
yes, I
all that
try,
important stuff.
try.
Not always. There were days where it was Chipotle. Just
Chick-fil-A nights happen, pizza
yeah,
nights happen,
right.
but yeah, no, you have to have that balance.
That is real. But joy to me is getting out and working on myself, and that life balance. So I am a pro life balance person. There's not even a question about that.
Yeah, awesome, great. Well, thank you, Dave, for sharing everything that you share on the podcast about your journey and how you have served the both the corporate and the entrepreneur community through your leadership and your work. And just sharing the book with the world. When the
Oh,
16
thank
that
you.
you took the steps to put this out. We all have a story within us, and so this is a amazing book for folks to learn about how to make the most of your time, your day, your life, because time is fleeting. You want to make sure that you're doing the things that's going to be right for you in your life, and this is a great guide to be your best self. And so thank you for sharing that, Dave. Anything else you want to say, feel free to share with the audience how they can connect with you as well.
Oh, first of all, it's an honor to be here. So thank you so much, Day. And again,
Welcome.
I think you're amazing, and I always have, from the time I met you. So you keep doing what you're doing. You're making a difference for people, even though I know sometimes we don't always feel that way because it's hard. And
Hmm.
again, I was very positive today because that's who I am too. That's probably the fourth word I would use for me is positive.
Positive.
But it's hard. I mean, it's hard. Mompreneurs, you know that. It's hard.
Hmm.
Um, I can be reached at pygon1.com. That's PYGONone.com. And I'm
Okay.
on LinkedIn at Dave Pygon. I'm all over Twitter. You can find me. I'm overexposed. Day can connect you. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to hear any 2 cents and learn from you. Because I would say, Day, and I know you're going to agree with this, so you don't have to answer it, how much you and I learn from our clients and all the people we deal with. They're teaching us too as we're teaching them, which is, I didn't realize that uh,
Hmm.
how much I'm learning from other people and other businesses, small, medium, or large, are teaching me. So I would
Absolutely.
say thank you. And it was a privilege to be here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for making time to be on our podcast. And um, I will definitely put all of your contact information in the show notes, as
Oh,
well
thank
as a
you.
link to where people can buy this book. Um, so they
Amazon.
can Amazon, win the 16 on Amazon. Look it up. That's where I got mine. So yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
Amazon.
That's the place.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate
And
you.
I know you just had an Audible version come out. So guys, this
Yes,
is on Audible as well. So
yes.
take advantage of listening to it. It's a great read. But thank you guys for listening today, and thank you, Dave, for being on the podcast once again. If you enjoyed this conversation, feel free to subscribe and share this episode with any other corporate professional, mompreneur, anyone you think that can really benefit from hearing our story, and hearing from Dave for sure. Share with your friends, with your community, give us some feedback, let us know what we can be doing to support you as well in your journey. And mompreneurs and entrepreneurs in general, always remember to give yourself permission to live your dreams so that you can truly be your full potential. So thank